Well, hiya, BookTube. Bill Ruttenberg here with the Ruttenberg Library. Wanted to come to you today with a book tag that I saw yesterday. It was done by Keeley over at ABibliophilesJourney. It was called the BookTuber Favorites Tag. And basically this is got several prompts, got 9 prompts dealing with your favorite booktubers. You know, people you've been watching for a long time and why they're your favorites. And so, you know, a couple videos back I did a shout out for newer booktubers. Well, this one would probably be more of the opposite. These are the old timers, the ones that have been on here for a while, the non-rookies, the veterans. So anyway, I thought this would be really good. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving, and I am very thankful that I have had BookTube, and so I wanted to give, you know, some thanks to these booktubers for getting me through what I have deemed a rough year, one that has been unlike any other that I can think of in my young life. No comments on the young life. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into this tag without me getting too sappy and everything else. I just want everybody to know that I am thankful for having you out there. So question number 1 on the BookTubers favorite tag. Again, this is the original done by ABibliophilesJourney, Keeley over at her channel. So, a booktuber you've watched the longest. And I was trying to, I know when I started watching. I started watching BookTube around Christmas time last year, during Christmas break. So I'm coming up on a year of watching BookTube. I know before that I was watching, YouTube has a little specialized area for like baseball cards. They have, and I was watching that over that summer, and then I like Hot Wheels, and so there's a small niche community for Hot Wheels and fixing up Hot Wheels, and that was kind of cool to watch those videos. But I really fell in love with BookTube, and these were the channels that I first started watching. I cannot remember for the life of me which one was first. I know that I picked up on a couple of those channels that had like 20,000, 40,000, 100,000 subscribers, and where I liked those, don't get me wrong, I liked watching those, but at the same time there was no personal connection. And I quickly found out as I started to get involved in BookTube and started making videos that our little corner of BookTube has so much more to it. The personal connections. It isn't just let's see how many subscribers we can get. Although it's nice to see your channel become popular and climb. I get that, but that's not our only intent. And I know Steve Donahue really hits on this when he talks about our little area of BookTube. It's a special community, and these are the so I guess now I need to answer the question. These are the ones that I picked up on at the beginning. These are the first channels, and I don't know which one was first. I can't remember, so I'm going to name all the ones that I know that I started watching right off the get-go. Peg at the History Shelf. She does history books, the nonfiction. So when I typed in nonfiction books or nonfiction book reviews into my search engine, she was one of the first ones that popped up. And so I know she was one of the first that I started watching, and absolutely love her channel. She does a awesome job of picking apart books and getting to the meat of the book, and she does awesome reviews. I always enjoy her book hauls, seeing what she's bringing into the house. I love looking at her bookshelf in the background. My wife loves looking at that. She thinks it looks really clean and sharp, and it's been something to admire. Her book collection is awesome, and I've always liked watching her channel because she reads a lot of the same stuff that I read. Anybody that's been around this corner of BookTube for very long has ran into Steve Donahue. Steve Donahue is quite possibly the most well-read person I've ever come across. He reads way faster than I do. He reads, I think he says 3 books a day, if not more than that, I don't know. He reads at a very, very, very fast pace that I cannot keep up with, and I truly admire that. That's pretty cool that he's able to do that. But he reviews books over at his channel, and always always has an opinion on something, and it's very fun to listen to all of those opinions come out. Mark Richardson over at Richardson's Reads is another one that I watched early on that I've continued watching. He's a librarian up in Vermont, and he's always bringing in some books that are very interesting. He likes history, and of course, being up in New England, he's full of American Revolution stuff, and I thoroughly enjoy listening to that. He has a passion for naval stuff and archaeology. I don't read a lot in those areas, but I enjoy listening to him talk about those, and so I've always enjoyed his channel. Johnny Keene up in Michigan, he's a older guy who keeps this is almost like his online diary. And he's always telling us about book hauls that he's done and his reading life, and I thoroughly enjoy listening to him. And then a couple of them that maybe not right at the very beginning, but like within a month that I ran across, and they've been on here about as long as I have. I think one is Todd at Todd's Bursting Bookshelf has been on, I think, a little bit longer than me, but not by much. And I love his book collection. He's done a lot of bookshelf tours where he goes through his collection and he tells a story about each of the books, and that is fabulous. He loves mysteries. He's got a vast collection of nonfiction books, and his biography section is something to be jealous of. I always love watching him go through his shelves. He hasn't made a video in a couple months. Kind of missing his videos. So Todd, if you watch this, I hope you make some more videos, because I enjoy watching your stuff. And then the other one that I was thinking of that I've watched the longest, and I picked up on him within a month or two, and his channel's about as old as mine. I don't remember what his exact first video, like what the date is, but it's pretty close to what mine was. And it's Sean Stanfast. And I know he's taking a small break right at the moment, and but his videos are absolutely awesome. And I'll be honest, what caught me first was his beard. I was thoroughly impressed with his beard. I was like, that is awesome. And I will tell you, Sean, if you're watching, my wife won't let me do that. She says I can't shave, but I can't, because I at one time aspired to have a ZZ Top beard. I was like, I got to do that. That would be awesome. And she said, no way, I'll kill you. So I can't grow the beard that you have, but I admire the beard. So and I always like his videos because he's got just a wide range of stuff that he reads. He likes archaeology, and recently he likes African history. He's been looking at the Zulu Wars, and that's been fun, looking at that vast collection of books that he's picked up over these last couple months. So moving on here, question number 2. A booktuber you just started watching. And I talked about these two in an earlier video when I did some shout outs, but Erica Priestley, she does videos on prehistory. That's kind of her specialty, and she really likes the medieval, the Middle Ages, and books dealing with the Middle Ages. So that's been fun listening to her, and she's been getting a channel started. And then Very Literary Carrie. Her channel's not that old. She's from Virginia, and I like listening to her stuff. She has a passion for John F. Kennedy, so if you're a Kennedy fan, go check her channel out. Question number 3, or prompt number 3. A booktuber you've become friends with. I feel that this corner of BookTube is very conducive to making friends. That is why I have absolutely loved it. And that's why I stopped watching some of those bigger channels, the ones that got like 50,000, 100,000, because you would send them a message and try to start up a conversation, and they never answer. You're lucky if you get a heart, but they never answer. They don't even give you a thank you for watching. And I really didn't like that. That's not the personal touch that I was hoping to get. And most of the people around this corner of BookTube, they answer your stuff within a day, maybe 2 days. sometimes a week, depending on, you know, how often they put up videos. But they answer your stuff, and they'll give you a comment back. They'll give you suggestions. They'll ask you, hey, how you doing? And they actually remember what's going on in your life. And I fully appreciate that. That has gotten me through 2020. And the ones that I picked for this, Steve Donahue, you know, his subscriber count's climbing. We're still trying to figure out why, according to Steve. He doesn't understand why, but I can tell you why. Steve has a very personal touch to his channel. You know, he leaves his email on every description box under his videos. And if you send him a question in his email, he will answer you. Within a couple days, it might not be immediately, but within a couple days, he will answer. And he won't just give you a one-liner, he'll give you a 3-paragraph answer, and I think that's awesome. I think he truly cares about the people that he's talking to, and you know, we've shared back and forth in the comments section of his videos, you know, the ability to agree to disagree. So, you know, he's always got opinions on stuff, but he fully appreciates that other people have other opinions, and I like that. And I'm the same way. I mean, my opinion runs one direction, but I can respect people of the other persuasion. And so, you know, when we went through all this political stuff, I was able to listen to all of it. Might not agree with all of it, but I was able to listen, and I feel Steve does that as well. And so I feel I've become friends with him in, you know, as much as you can online, you know, through the chats, through the email. I feel Peg, we've had a lot of comments back and forth on each other's videos. I feel like that I know her as far as BookTube goes, and then another one's Erion over at oh goodness. Book Zealots, I'm sorry, Erion over at Book Zealots. I like how she, you know, she tells you like it is, tells you how she feels about something, and she's willing to converse with you in the comments section. And we're doing a buddy reading right now, and so we're using Voxer, and we're going back and forth with comments, and I just fully appreciate that. I think I feel like I've become online friends with those three, and there's others as well. So if I don't mention you, by the way, on this deal, there's only 9 questions, so I couldn't mention everybody, but I feel that our corner of BookTube really emphasizes that, and that's great. So number 4, a BookTuber you get most of your book recommendations from. And you know, as I've mentioned, I've already put her in a couple of tags, but Peg, she reads exactly what I read, and I love looking at the books that she brings out, because I would be willing to read most of them. And I have bought some books on her recommendation. Mark over at Richardson's Reads, same thing. He gave some recommendations for, like I did a American Revolution book tag that I created, and he answered the tag and gave his book recommendations, and I'm going to buy some books based on his recommendations. And then, of course, Steve, same thing with Steve. He's always giving book recommendations, and I would trust his judgment. And if you have never watched Steve's starter kits or his, recently I went through all of his, he was doing his shelf tours on his biographies, and I watched all of those shelf tours on the biographies. And I'm getting ready to get started Thanksgiving weekend here. I'm going to be doing the history ones that he's got up. He's got all kinds of really great titles. You need to check those out. And his starter kits, if you don't know where to start with a certain genre, look at those starter kits. He gives great recommendations. Number 5, a BookTuber you watch who reads a genre that you don't. I got a couple that I picked for this. Alan Braswell, and it's not that I wouldn't be willing to read it, I just don't read it, is Russian history. He pulls out a lot of titles from Russian history that I would not be aware of. And so I like listening to him talk about Russian history. The Bookish Bryants. I absolutely love listening to Scott and Becky go back and forth, and they read romance novels, and I don't read romance novels. But it is a whole lot of fun listening to those two talk about the novels that they've bought. Now, Scott does read some nonfiction that I read, and so we've kind of been going back and forth on on recommendations and stuff for different books. So I do read that genre, but I was referring to the romance. I don't read romance. A booktuber whose videos make you happy. And I picked a couple for this. The Bookish Bryants again. It is fun listening to the back and forth between a happily married couple. I love it. It's fun. The banter back and forth, and you can really, their love for one another really comes out on camera. And I fully appreciate that, guys. Please continue that. That is awesome. And then the other one I chose is Sean Stanfast. Sean Stanfast's videos are great. He makes me happy simply because he is not afraid to. He puts his opinion out there, and if you don't like it, too bad. And it is so much fun listening to that. And I think he's willing to hear the other side, but he's not going to take any slack from anybody in the comments section trying to just start a fight with him on a different opinion. And I just like how he draws his line in the sand, and he said, and that is the way it is. And I really like that about him. Number 7, a booktuber you'd love to do a buddy read with. So right now I'm doing a buddy read with Erion over at Zealots, and thoroughly enjoying that. We're working our way through Einstein. I have a book or a buddy read set up, I believe, with Peg. I think there's a book we're gonna read together, and then and I'm really looking forward to that. And I just set up another one with Brian this morning when I was answering a comment back and forth, and we're going to do one of the Civil War books. I'm pretty excited about that. And then another one I would love to do a buddy read with is Todd over at Todd's Bursting Bookcase. I would love to do a buddy read with him because he's just so well read in biography. I'd love to dig into a book with him. Number 8, a booktuber with under 1,000 subscribers that you love. And I'm gonna put Todd's Bursting Bookcase in there. That's my recommendation for under 1,000. His videos are wonderful. He's a down-to-earth guy from up in Minnesota, and I have just absolutely loved watching him go through his bookcase and talk about new books that he's brought in. Great guy. Number 9, a booktuber with over 1,000 subscribers that you love. I threw Mark Richardson in for this one. Mark does a great job with his channel. Again, he's a librarian, so he's got he reads across the genres. He reads everything. But I like listening to. I don't read too much science fiction, but I love listening to him talk about science fiction. I love listening to him talk about archaeology, naval history. He just makes books interesting. And then, of course, his back and forth banter. If we're talking over 1,000 subscribers, his back and forth banter in his different videos that he's done with Steve Donahue when Steve travels up to Vermont, those are thoroughly entertaining. I would highly recommend going and watching those. So that brings us to the end of this tag. And the last thing is, who do you tag? So here's who I am going to tag. I am going to tag all of the people I mentioned in this book tag. So I meant the ones that I tagged that I mentioned earlier are Steve Donahue, Mark Richardson, Johnny Keene, Sean D. Stanfast, Peg at the History Shelf, Todd at Todd's Bursting Bookcase, Erion and Promethius over at Zealots, Scott and Becky at Bookish Bryants, Alan Braswell, Carrie at Very Literary Carrie, and Erica Priestley. So I tag all of those that I mentioned in the video. I hope everybody does it and has fun with it. And if you didn't get tagged, please consider yourself tagged. Go ahead and do it. But those are the ones I in particular want to see do this. So BookTube, thank you for watching my video. I appreciate new subscribers and the comments in the comments section. Feel free to leave comments. And I just want to wish everybody, if I don't get I got a Thanksgiving Day tag that I want to put up. If I don't end up getting that up, please let me just wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. And till next time, BookTube, thank you for watching. Happy reading.